The man to beat me haven't been born yet. I'll be champion. I can stay in the ring 10 more years, easy, I figure.
This is 10 sporting moments that changed the world. So get ready, because we're about to unveil our mind-blowing number 10 in this thrilling journey through the world of sports. It's going to be one heck of a ride. Alexander the Great once said, "There is nothing impossible to him who will try." And try he would, with number 10 on our list. Muhammad Ali refuses the draft. Muhammad Ali is one of the greatest athletes to ever walk on this planet. An activist, poet, and world-class athlete. Ali won 3 consecutive world titles and amassed 56 career wins in professional boxing. Born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky as Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr., Ali spent his early childhood training as an amateur boxer. Even in his early teenage years, he showed the same level of commitment to the sport as he did when he was standing on top of it.
Well, I started about 6 years ago. My bicycle was stolen, and my cousin was a boxer. He wasn't too successful, but he boxed. And he told me that he would train me if I ever catch the guy that, you know how kids think, if I ever caught the guy that stole my bicycle, well, I would know how to fight. You know, I could defend myself. Well, anyway, he took me to the gym, and he quit later, but I kept it up.
Ali won a gold medal in the light heavyweight division at the age of 18, whilst contesting in the 1960 Summer Olympics. The medal would soon become a token he would cash in for a professional boxing career.
Would you fight Floyd Patterson for charity? Floyd Patterson's a sister. I done knocked that out of my mind. He ain't nothing but a chump. If he go back, let him go back and fight Sonny Liston. If he can last 2 rounds, again, if he can answer the bell for the second time with Liston, then he might deserve a shot at me. I'm the king.
Within 4 years of his first major victory, Ali was now world champion, defeating Sonny Liston and earning not only his first, but the first world title. However, despite being a warrior in the ring, Ali was against conflict.
It used to be easy, talking and saying, I am the greatest campaigner for the title. Now I am here and everybody else is trying to take my title, such as this fellow named Henry Cooper in London, and all these fellows are trying to get my title now. And it's no longer fun getting up every morning early to run and training every day. It's getting to be a grind and a job, but it pays off if you're in condition and if you can keep winning. I have so much on my mind, as you have been reading, all type little problems, you know, alimony and matrimony and divorce and draft board problems, and it didn't really get me down, but it's just taking a little time to forget about it.
So Clay works out his hate. For him, perhaps, the punch ball symbolizes all those who seem to conspire against him, those who demand tax and alimony, the public who sneer at his Muslim faith, the draft board that wants to send him to Vietnam.
Well, I'm not saying nothing about that. I don't want to say nothing. It won't help me to say nothing, and it'll help me not to say nothing.
So you're not prepared to discuss your feelings about the Vietnam War?
Well, I'll say this. I really believe this is not campaign talk, this is for real. I don't believe that the man to beat me haven't been born yet. I'll be champion. I can stay in the ring 10 more years, easy, I figure.
It was here in Miami that Clay took the world title 2 years ago from the aging Sonny Liston, who quit after 6 rounds. Last May, they met again, and Liston was flattened in 60 seconds. To shouts of fix, fake, and fraud. After that, some said professional boxing was slipping into its grave. Others claim that Clay's own behavior since then has done little to pull it back. His ranting and raving, his association with extremist Negroes, and his attitude to military service have all made him unpopular. He is hero now to few.
At home, protests against the war persisted. Peace groups staged marches in many cities. A growing voice, however, called the demonstrations treachery.
In 1964, the United States of America entered into a brutal guerrilla conflict with communist sympathizers in Vietnam.
7 young and earnest protesters burned draft cards on the steps of a Boston courthouse. A group of high school boys set upon them with fists.
The Vietnam War quickly became a military priority, and almost every able-bodied man was drafted into the military. As a Muslim, he stated his religion forbade him from serving and participating in the conflict.
Congress investigated the peace movements, but the proceedings produced more tumult.
As you read the newspapers and the press now, you see that I am now in court. I am in court seeking justice under the laws of the land. In this country, the United States of America, ministers are exempt from the armed services. And if they choose, I am a Muslim minister and a teacher of the religion of Islam. It has been said that I have 2 alternatives. Either go to jail or go to the army. But I would like to say that there is another alternative. And that alternative is justice.
In 1967, after Ali's publicized opinion against the war, he was immediately stripped of his heavyweight champion title. Number 9. The Tiger Woods Hug. Golfers pride themselves on their patience and discipline. The astonishing skill to accurately hit a ball to land in a chosen area on the golf course takes years of practice. The urge to hit something hard and far may come easy to some, but making a career out of it is a different ballgame.
He's golf's newest superstar, and he's in a hurry, not only to get down to work, but to win every major title going. Such has been Tiger Woods' impact since he turned pro. He's won 7 titles so far, including the US Masters. We now have worldwide Tiger Mania. The west side of Scotland is no different. Many have come just to see the man. The golf is almost secondary.
Tiger Woods started his golfing career as a junior at the age of 5. However, he showed an interest in the sport by watching and imitating his father.
This is Eldrick Tiger Woods, and Eldrick is an accomplished golfer. He wins tournaments on a regular basis and has shot close to par on 18-hole courses. Incredibly, Tiger here is only 5 years old.
On the tee, we have the 9 o'clock starting group, the youngest contestant ever. He's 5 years old. Eldrick Tiger Woods.
Born Eldrick Taunt Woods, Tiger received his nickname and love of golf from his father. His father nicknamed him Tiger in honor of his friend Colonel Vuong Dang Phong, a fellow comrade from South Vietnam, who also had the nickname Tiger. Growing up, it was clear that young Tiger had a talent. He competed in junior or amateur competitions before eventually turning pro and winning his first Masters tournament in 1997.
It's his first British Open as a professional, but Tiger Woods is the star turn at Royal Troon. He's lifted golf to new heights, and everyone wants to see him. You've become a role model for young players. You're only young yourself. Is it fair, do you think, that you have all these extra responsibilities on your shoulders, apart from just getting around the golf course?
No, I think that's an honor and a privilege that people think that highly of you. And if you're a role model, doesn't matter if you're a school teacher, police officer, or even a parent. If you're in a position to influence people in a positive way, I think you're very lucky.
The growing crowds watch and analyze every move. So does mum called Tida, to use later on. The secret, they say, is in the swing. 7 titles so far, including the US Masters. They call him a sporting superstar, they call him a golfing legend. What's easy to forget is that he's just 21 years of age, and this is his first season as a professional player. It's not everyone who can attract fans to a golf course who know nothing about the game. It's called Tiger Mania, and even the experienced old-timers acknowledge a new genius. If Tiger's hunger can secure the British Open title this weekend, they'll say this surely is the best player ever. Graham Miller, News at 10, Troon.
The 61st Masters tournament, where golf fans around the world watched as 21-year-old Tiger Woods embraced his father. Almost 2 decades later, in 2019, Tiger won the 83rd Masters tournament, a major championship in the golf industry. A victory that not only represented his incredible comeback in the sport, but a victory promised to his son. 2 decades prior, Tiger embraced his father as a son, and 2 decades later, Tiger embraces his son as a father. Number 8 on our list kicks off with a bang or a pandemic. Joint high jump gold at the 2020 Olympics. 2020 was an eventful year, or lack thereof. COVID-19 swept the world off of its feet. A functioning metropolis with bustling streets, individuals walking with urgency, and a global economy reaching all-time highs. Everything seemed almost perfect, until it wasn't.
You must stay at home.
Japan was scheduled to host the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, the second time the island nation has hosted the global sporting event since 1964. But due to the pandemic, the 2020 Olympics was postponed until 2021. When the balls started rolling and society started returning back to their normal lives, athletes are finally able to travel to Japan and compete in the Olympics. Being a good sportsman is more than just winning. It's about respect for others and the pride and dedication to push yourself to the best of your abilities. That doesn't mean to say winning isn't an option. Most athletes dream of winning a gold medal for their country. But in a competition against several other athletes and many, many difficult qualifying rounds, only one can come out victorious. That is, of course, until Qatari athlete Mutaz Barshim and his fellow comrade, Italian high jumper Gianmarco Tamberi, stunned the world when they won a joint gold medal in the high jump event. Take that for a leap of faith. 1989 saw the release of timeless music, such as Lisa Stansfield's All Around the World, Black Box's Right on Time, and Tektronix's Pump Up the Jam. But that wasn't all 1989 was known for. The sequel to the now renowned time travel series Back to the Future was released, showcasing the world of 2015, with a sneak peek into what the future of shoe technology could look like.
Power laces, all right.
with the legendary Nike Air Mag sneakers. Sneaker fans went crazy over the technology concepts, but not as crazy as our number 7. Air Jordan's 1989, the shot. In 1989, the Chicago Bulls dominated the basketball court, with Michael Jordan at the forefront. Jordan was a star player and already a superstar at the age of 26. '89 was also a turning point in fashion choices for many young individuals. Jordan had an exclusive brand deal with Nike. They would use him to promote their brand to a wider audience, and in return, he would have his own line of basketball shoes, the Air Jordan. In the 1989 NBA playoff game between the Chicago Bulls and Cleveland Cavaliers, Michael Jordan went above and beyond when he executed a perfect jump shot, propelling the Chicago Bulls into the lead with 3 seconds left on the clock. The game concluded 101-100, with the Bulls winning by a single point.
The Bulls have 3 seconds to try a shot and try to win the game. Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Michael Jordan hit the basket at the buzzer.
Fans went crazy. With word out about Jordan's incredible victory, news about the shoes he was wearing spread through the streets like wildfire. Everyone wanted a pair of Jordans. Everyone wanted the Jordans, the Jordan 4s, with a retail price of $110 to solve all your basketball problems. Unfortunately, solving problems with money doesn't always work out. That's why number 6 is a little more contemporary. Ping pong diplomacy, 1972. After the Korean War, the United States enforced a major economic containment policy on China. China, then the People's Republic of China, entered the war as an aggressor, but times change and so do countries. 2 decades later, in a move to improve diplomatic relations and fulfill their own agendas, the United States and China opened communications with each other. But without the ease of communication we have today through the internet, they had to get creative. After all, they hadn't spoken to each other in 20 years. The 31st World Table Tennis Championships, held in Nagoya, Japan, provided an opportunity for both China and the United States. The U.S. table tennis team was in Nagoya, Japan in 1971 for the 31st World Table Tennis Championships on April 6th, when they received an invitation to visit China. But how this invitation came to be was the result of being in the wrong place at the right time. The events leading up to the invitation began when American table tennis player Glenn Cowan missed his team bus one afternoon after his practice in Nagoya during the 31st World Tennis Championship. Apparently, he had been practicing for 15 minutes with the Chinese player Liang Jiliang when a Japanese official came and wanted to close the training area. Cowan boarded a shuttle bus carrying the Chinese team, most of whom treated him with suspicion. However, Chinese player Zhuang Zedong shook Cowan's hand, spoke to him through an interpreter, and presented him with a silkscreen portrait of the Hangshan Mountains, a mountain range in eastern China. The American table tennis player hesitantly replied, "I can't give you a comb. I wish I could give you something, but I can't." This World Table Tennis Championships marked the return of China's participation after a 6-year absence. When the Chinese team and Cowan walked off the bus, journalists who were following the Chinese team seized the opportunity to snap photographs of the monumental event in foreign relations. In the political climate of the 1960s, the sight of an athlete from Communist China with an athlete from the United States was sure to garner attention. As a self-described hippie, Cowan presented Zhuang with a t-shirt with a red, white, and blue peace emblem flag and the words "Let It Be," lyrics from a song by the Beatles, on the following day. On April 10, 1971, 9 American players, 4 officials, and 2 spouses stepped across a bridge from Hong Kong to the Chinese mainland and then spent their time during April 11th through 17th playing fun matches. Ping pong diplomacy was successful and opened the U.S.-PRC relationship, leading the U.S. to lift the embargo against China on June 10, 1971. On February 28, 1972, during President Nixon and Henry Kissinger's visit to Shanghai, the Shanghai Communique was issued between the U.S. and the PRC. The Olympic Games have been a way for countries to set aside their differences and come together in peaceful but competitive games. But sometimes the differences are a bit hard to ignore. Number 5. Jesse Owens ruins Hitler's Berlin Olympics. The 1936 Berlin Summer Olympics marked the global sporting event's 10th official games. The last time Berlin was set to host the Olympics, it was canceled due to the ongoing war of 1916. 1936, however, was a new era, a time of peace, prosperity, and fascism. Adolf Hitler, Germany's new shining leader, the chosen one, he envisioned a new Germany, a powerful Germany, an inclusive Germany for all white Aryans. Unfortunately, his vision didn't include those he thought beneath his idyllic German. In 1932, however, this crazy man was just that, a crazy extremist leader, too small to be a threat, but powerful enough that other countries turned a blind eye to his practices. Others, like the USA, who enacted similar segregation policies to their non-white citizens. James Cleveland Owens, better known as Jesse Owens, was one of those citizens snubbed by his own country. He was the grandchild of a slave and the son of a sharecropper. As one of 10 siblings, Jesse had a difficult upbringing in Cleveland, Ohio. From an early age, he showed interest in running, explaining that he enjoyed it as it was an activity he could do alone. By the age of 21, Jesse had equaled the 100-yard dash world record of 9.4 seconds and set 3 more world records in track and field events. He was ready for the world stage. After heavy negotiations, Jesse agreed to participate in the 1936 Berlin Summer Games, where he was welcomed by the fascist regime of Adolf Hitler. Hitler had been claiming racial superiority and preaching his beliefs to the masses, so naturally, his supporters and the athletes representing his nation should have won every game. But of course, his claims had no weight to them, and Jesse demolished the competition with his extreme superhuman talent for sports.
1936, Adolf Hitler attempts to turn the Summer Olympics into a propaganda platform for the Nazi doctrine of Aryan supremacy. But a black American athlete, Owens wins a 2nd gold medal in the 200 meters and a 3rd as anchorman on the 400-meter relay team. Victory in the broad jump climaxes a star-spangled performance by Jesse Owens. For Adolf Hitler, a foretaste of other defeats on other fields.
Jesse walked away with 4 solo gold medals. (1995) Mandela Rugby, the South African Rugby World Cup. South Africa was a nation in the process of rebuilding the relationship of its people. Under the previous leadership, South Africa practiced a racial segregation system called apartheid. Essentially, this system segregated the black majority from the white minority. Blacks weren't allowed to mix with whites, and whites weren't allowed to mix with blacks. Most people understand that sports brings people together. Famously, in 1914, during the first year of World War I, soldiers from both sides enacted a temporary ceasefire on Christmas. They exchanged small gifts and came together through sport, playing friendly games of football, a stark contrast to the bloody battle they had paused. They put aside their differences and came together. Similarly, when Nelson Mandela was elected as the first black South African president, after spending 27 years imprisoned for being an outspoken human rights activist, he spoke of a better future for the nation, an inclusive future. Like many other nations, South Africa loves sports, but back in the 90s, a popular sport in South Africa, rugby, was deemed a white elitist sport, not inclusive of black South Africans. The 1995 Rugby World Cup was the third Rugby World Cup, was the first major sporting event to take place in South Africa following the end of apartheid. It was also the first World Cup in which South Africa was allowed to compete due to their past political stance. The World Cup is a big deal, and it was an even bigger deal because Nelson Mandela, the man loved by all, was using it as a platform to promote peace and prosperity. All South Africans were welcomed, and many who previously showed no interest in the sport due to prejudice and elitism cheered on in support of their team.
I have warned our boys that they are playing against world champions, a very good team. But I'm sure that we have a very good chance of emerging victorious.
During the final, held at Ellis Park in Johannesburg on June 24th, South Africa defeated New Zealand 15-12, with Joel Stransky scoring a drop goal in extra time, winning the match. Everyone went wild. Not only had South Africa emerged victorious in a home game, but the victory also symbolized the new direction South Africa was heading in. And in a move that embodied the value in the moment, Nelson Mandela himself emerged onto the playing field, wearing the number 6 jersey of Francois Pienaar, South African team captain. Mandela presented Francois with a trophy and thanked him. He said, "Francois, thank you for what you have done for the country." To which Francois Pienaar replied, "No, Mr. Mandela, thank you for what you have done for the country."
I can't tell you how much this place has changed in the last 3 years. Francois Pienaar and Nelson Mandela is cheering along with the whole of the stadium. A sea of flags. Wonderful. The president to the captain. South Africa. We hardly believed it could happen for them, but it has. And now the celebrations, I'm sure, will go on for at least a week.
Serena Williams wins Wimbledon 2002. Having a competitive rival often brings out the best in people. As we've seen before, competition can be a good thing. Many experience sibling rivalry, but not many have had the rivalry tennis legends Serena and Venus share. The sisters grew up in Compton, California, where they began their tennis careers at 4 and 5 years old. From an early age, they were destined for greatness, encouraged to play and trained by their father, Richard Williams. Their childhood was shaped around tennis, and the rivalry grew. The two sisters supported each other in their journey together. To have one sister become a world-class athlete is one achievement, but to have two compete in the same championship is an amazing feat.
It's a family affair that's gripped the nation. One of the Williams sisters has to lose today, but which one? It's only happened twice before in Wimbledon history. It's the first time in the semi-finals of a modern Grand Slam event. The experts forecast a close match.
Venus was already a two-time defending champion, an opponent many struggled against. However, her opponent during the final would be none other than her sister Serena. This would be a monumental match for both sisters. Sisters who have trained together their whole lives. Serena was relentless against the two-time defending champion, sending missile after missile hurling towards Venus. The world's #1 and #2 tennis players were pitted against each other, and only one would emerge victorious.
Champion about to be deposed by her younger sister. 3 match points for Serena Williams to take the title without dropping a set.
Game, set, match. It's Serena Williams. 2 sets to love. 7-6, 6-3.
Serena Williams defeated the two-time defending champion, her sister Venus Williams, in the final, 7-6, 7-4, 6-3, to win the ladies' singles tennis title at the 2002 Wimbledon Championships. It was her first Wimbledon singles title and the second step in completing her first Serena Slam. Brandy Chastain at the 1999 Women's Football World Cup. Football is the most played sport in the world, played by more than 20 million people worldwide, with an estimated 3.5 billion fans across the globe, and is the most watched televised sport. Every 4 years, a World Cup tournament is held by an elected country, and in 1999, the final game of the Women's World Cup was hosted in the United States at the Rose Bowl Stadium in Pasadena, California. Team USA was up against China, a formidable opponent. China had dominated the playing field, swiping the grass with their opponents, steamrolling right to the finals. The finalist teams played until the last whistle to a beat of 0-0. The match represented one of the most important events in the history of American athletics. The match featured 2 powerhouses of Women's Association football. The United States had won the first FIFA World Cup championship in China and the gold medal at the 1996 Olympics. China had won the silver at the 1996 Olympics and had defeated the United States in the final of the 1999 Algarve Cup. They had history. China was the first Asian national team to reach the FIFA Women's World Cup. It was also the first final with no European qualifying teams. The match turned into a penalty shootout. The best kickers on both teams went head-to-head with the respective goalkeepers. Carla Overbeck started the USA goal streak, followed by a short rally by Ji Hulin and Qi Haiyan. But controversially, when Liu Ying stepped up to kick, goalkeeper Brianna Scurry leapt off the goal line prematurely. Zhang Ouying, Mia Hamm, and Sun Wen each converted their penalty opportunities, leaving the United States' Brandy Chastain with a shot to win the tournament. She put the ball past Gao, leading to an ecstatic celebration by the Americans, who had clinched the title on home soil. The stars aligned in favor of Team USA. However, it wasn't as miraculous as our #1.
El Hombre del Pie Dorado, the man with the golden feet. He's followed everywhere by the world's sporting press, gets more requests for interviews than his manager and the rest of the Argentinian team put together, and is #1 target for the World Cup autograph hunters.
The hand of God.
He has the perfect stage to show off his skills. He says he's a few more tricks in store for World Cup defenders.
Bueno, como vos quieras.
1986 could yet be the year for the man with the golden feet.
Not many miracles happen in the world, nor are any often witnessed. But in 1986, a miracle happened in front of a crowd of 40,000 people and millions more whilst being broadcasted live.
Maradona believes the 1986 World Cup is wide open.
Historically, France and West Germany always do well, but I think Argentina and England are very strong this year.
Following their captain's example, the mood in the Argentinian camp is relaxed and confident. The Argentinians' only fear is that their star man will again be kicked and hacked out of the competition. They've appealed to World Cup referees to give him the protection his talent deserves.
Diego Maradona is an Argentinian football player and one of the most talented players participating in the World Cup. Some might consider him the undisputed greatest player of all time. Argentina was up against England. 6 minutes into the second half of the game, the score was still 0-0. Maradona booted the ball out of the box with his left foot and subsequently passed it to his fellow teammate Jorge Valdano. Valdano tried to take on several English defenders, but the ball was quickly intercepted before being kicked back towards the English goal by England's own midfielder Steve Hodge as an attempt to regain dominance. Because of the position of the players, Maradona would have been caught offside, but as the ball came off an opponent, he was onside. Alone inside the penalty box and with the ball dropping down, Maradona contested the ball with goalkeeper Peter Shilton, who had a major height advantage over Maradona. Shilton jumped forward with his right hand, while Maradona did so with his left arm outstretched and his fist rolled. His fist touched the ball first and hit the ball into England's goal. Maradona began celebrating while glancing sideways at the referee and the linesman for confirmation. He then fully celebrated the goal when it was given. He scored a goal that gave Argentina a 1-0 lead over England, and they eventually won it 2-1. In the modern era, the goal would have been illegal due to the technology used to review the finer details. However, due to poor visibility and limitations on cameras, Maradona was able to celebrate. When asked if it was an illegal goal, Maradona responded by saying he scored the goal a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. And there you have it, 10 sporting events that changed the world. From epic battles with worthy opponents to fierce struggles against all odds. These athletes have become symbols of perseverance and determination. They have shattered records, pushed the boundaries of human capability, and inspired generations to pursue greatness.
Lord Patterson's a sister. I done knocked that out of my mind. He ain't nothing but a chump.
Their triumphs on the field have transcended mere athletic accomplishments, becoming powerful cultural moments that united people across borders and ignited a passion for sports. These events have demonstrated the incredible potential of human spirit and showcased the immense power of sports as a catalyst for social change. In each of these historic moments, athletes have not only conquered their own limitations, but also challenged societal norms and prejudices. Their victories have dismantled barriers and shattered stereotypes, leaving a lasting mark on history and paving the way for a more inclusive and equitable future. History will remember these extraordinary athletes not just for their remarkable sporting achievements, but for the profound impact they had on society. So let us celebrate these sporting icons, these game changers who have left an enduring legacy in the world of sports and beyond.